Hope you guys are doing amazing. TJ Atkinson here in the building. So today I'm going to be talking to you about something quite interesting. So I came across this video, I haven't watched it yet, so I'm actually going to be reacting to it. It's about a young lady that earns, I think, around $227,000 a year. Now, I'll be totally honest, that is a hell load of money to earn as a salary. So I want to react to it. I want to hear some of your points of views. I'm sure there are going to be one or two things that I can learn and a few things that you can also learn as well. And we'll just deep dive straight into it. Do me a favor, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so I can create more content and so you're actually able to see my content, because this information might just change your life. So let's get straight into it.
One of my goals has always been to live abroad. So when I got the opportunity to move to London, it was kind of a dream come true, even though it was somewhat unexpected.
Okay, that's interesting. So she's got an interesting accent. I'm guessing she's American. So she moved to the UK, which is absolutely crazy to me because I love America. For some of you guys know, I wanted to move out to Atlanta only about a year and a half ago.
My name's Imani. I'm 28 and I live in London, UK.
You live in London, but where in London specifically? Because London is a big, massive place. So I know Americans think London is this place, but London is a massive, massive place. So where in London? That's going to give me a better understanding. Because if she saves a lot of money, then it might make sense that she lives in certain places. If she spent a lot of money, it might make sense as well. So it would be good to know exactly where in London she lives. Is it zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5, zone 6? 28, and she's on $227,000 per year. Okay, this is going to be interesting.
Hi, welcome to my living room. So this is actually a space that converts into a second bedroom when I have friends and family visit. This is my kitchen. I definitely spend a lot more time in this space now that I've been cooking more at home.
So she moved from Baltimore, okay.
So I think the biggest expense that was a bit of a surprise for me when I moved here to London is that it is very comparable to New York City. It's very expensive. Renting is not as easy as it was when I had lived in Baltimore previously. When you're looking for a place, the listing price is not necessarily what you'll get it for. They do a whole bidding process to be able to secure a place, and if it's in a high demand area, the price might be very different ultimately to be able to secure the location.
The listing price is not necessarily what you get it for. Okay, well, she has a point. But typically, the listing price is what you get it for. You might pay £1 or £2 extra and you might pay some fees, but... Whoa! What the flip? Okay, so I've just seen the house. Okay, that's a small house. That's a tiny house. Okay, well, let's give it a chance. In my opinion, that's quite a small house. Again, of course, I'm not slating the house because it's a home and it's a beautiful place for her. But she's paying £2,570 per month. No, absolutely not. Now, unless she needs to be in London for work, then I have no clue as to why on earth you would pay for that small space. Now, of course, as I said, I've been in property for quite some time. Some of you guys know me. I'm a property investor. I own property in London and in Kent. But £2,570 per month for that space? It's crazy. You could absolutely get significantly more for your money and pay significantly less outside. So I'm going to assume she's in zone 1. I will make the assumption that she's in zone 1. I stand to be corrected, but £2,570 per month is absolutely bonkers. But of course, when you're on $227,000 a year, then that might just be a tiny little smidgen or a tiny little part of your budget. But let's see. Oh, stop. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. You need to go back and have a conversation with this agency. And I hope the agency is actually watching this, because what you've done is completely wrong to this young lady. What you've done is completely wrong. There is no way on earth that there should be a £500 increase in rent for a property that's been marketed at 2,200 to then be taken on at 2,700. That agent did you wrong, sis. Okay, that's not true. That's actually not true. She might mean something else, but there isn't a bidding process unless you get a letting agent or a real estate agent that's working on behalf of the landlord or the property owner. Typically, what's advertised is typically what tends to be paid. Now, the bidding system that she might be referring to, just in case you are planning to come and move to the UK, the bidding system might be what some agents do, which is to get a few people to be interested in a property. Let's say there are 10 people who are interested in this one specific property. Then you've got kind of a bidding frenzy, and you can kind of play each person against each other to say, well, the rent is £1,000 a month, and this person's willing to pay 1,100. Would you match it? But officially, there is no such thing as a bidding system. It's just some estate agents, or let me put it, some real estate agents will play the game if they can get a better return for the owner of the property / your landlord. Completely did you wrong. I could introduce you to a bunch of agents that would not have done that. Now, unless you totally fell in love with the property, and that's something that you've got to make sure you don't do. You don't fall in love with any property. You go there, it's a business transaction. You like it and you know that you can make it a home, different story. But don't fall in love with it, because that's when they do what they've just done to you. 2,700, absolutely bonkers, absolutely bonkers. Crazy. I've never paid that much in rent, never.
What they wanted to see is that I could definitely pay my rent. So I ended up paying the first 12 months up front. And then after staying in the place for 1 month, I paid another 4 months.
Why? But why? But why? But why? So look, let me explain something. This is typically how the UK works, and I'm sure it's probably the same in many other countries as well. Yes, we've got a referencing process. So you've got to pass referencing in order to take on a property. Referencing simply reassures the owner of the property and the letting agents that you can afford to make your payments on a monthly basis. But my goodness, she's on 227,000 per year. She can definitely afford it. However, very important, she probably doesn't have much credit here. So as part of the referencing process, they're going to ask for previous landlords. They're going to ask for a reference from your previous landlords. They're going to be certain checks. And in many cases, when you can't fulfill those checks, some agencies will ask you for 6 months rent in advance or 12 months rent in advance. So it's understandable. But girl, I'm not sure about 12 months rent at 2,755 per month. But yeah.
Ultimately, that's obviously not something that's easy to do.
Oh my God. I'm not even going to talk about it. £44,000 in rent. Yes, you could have bought a property, but of course that's difficult because you might not have the necessary references. You might not qualify for a mortgage in order to buy. And again, we're talking about property in either zone 1 or zone 2. £44,000 doesn't cover your deposit. But £44,000? I think this is a matter of being resourceful, or just a simple matter of not knowing or getting the wrong information. This should not have happened on any case at all. Please, 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 if you are moving, speak to multiple agents. There are multiple agents that will consider your circumstances, and in many cases, you might have to pay 6 months up front, and you can negotiate that as well because it just gives reassurance to the agent. But you don't need to be paying 2,200 or 2,770 as she's paying.
So a big part of being able to do that was getting some support in terms of what my relocation package was.
Okay, well, it makes sense. Of course, it makes sense. There was a relocation package, so okay, still.
Package was, welcome to The bedroom, so it is a separate space from the living and kitchen, which I really love. It gives us a separate area. We actually just passed the half bath that I'll use when I actually have guests staying with me. And then you'll kind of get to see the space. It has lots of closets, which is not very common in the UK, I find. And then right behind me is where we have the full bathroom that I use on a daily basis. My dad actually had a background of finance growing up, and he always would try to teach me best practices for managing money.
Well done, Dad. Well done, Uncle. I think this is so important. And you can understand and you can start to see the signs that the people that tend to do well in life, their parents instilled some form of financial education. You can see it. She's clearly a hard worker. She's clearly someone that understands money. She's clearly someone that gets money. And from what she's saying here, this is clearly attributed to her dad teaching her some very important principles. I mean, hey, guess what? She's on $227,000 a year, I guess, due to this man putting time and effort into teaching her about money. So if you're a parent and you're watching this, then you've got to teach your kids about money. This is a prime example of learning.
Saving, I actually started at the age of 5. When I had my allowance, I had to save 50% of the allowance that I made for college, and it really helped me not only see the value in kind of having this practice of saving some of your income for future things, but it also just allowed me to have a better relationship with money. One thing that makes me a little bit different than many students is I don't have student debt. It definitely was made possible through some of the support of my parents, the saving that I had done when I was younger, and also scholarships.
Well done, Dad. That's absolutely incredible. Coming out of university with no student debt. Now, student debt is one of the most crippling factors for any person that's been to university, because before you start to actually profit, before you start to enjoy your salary, there are loans that you've got to pay back. So again, this girl is in an amazing, amazing opportunity. I'm going to stop calling her this girl because her name is Imani. So Imani is in an incredible position, but she's put herself in that position. Amazing.
My day-to-day life, but what I'm finding is that because I'm in a pandemic, there's a lot less stuff to spend money on, entertainment.
Okay, this is very interesting. So she generates around 21,800. She spends around 600 on food, contributes to her pension, pays for transportation. Girl, for the price that you're paying, I would assume you would be walking to work, but okay, that's fine. Utilities for a it's a 2-bed flat. Okay, that's fine. Also, I don't know if you know or you are aware that you can apply for a discount for your council tax because it's a single person. Okay, put some money in savings. Housing comes up to 2,900, taxes of 3,000, and she invests 10,900, so 11,000 is invested. I hope people can see how wealth is created. This is intentional. Somebody's putting aside 10,000 in investment on a monthly basis, and many people struggle to put aside £1. It's intentional. Again, credit to her. And
last year, I became one of the youngest senior operations managers at my company, which is something that was extremely exciting for me, especially since when I started at my company about 5.5 years ago, I always saw this as a role that was kind of unattainable, and I didn't really see people who looked like me doing this work. It was really just figuring out, how do I get there? How do I grow within not only my role, but as a leader? And how do I help other people also move into these spaces that maybe they don't see a lot of people that look like them? And that's kind of been a big goal of mine within growing within my career and hopefully bringing people with me.
Okay, now that's exciting. That's exciting to see a young black girl absolutely smashing it. I love this. I think this is absolutely incredible. One of the youngest to do it as well. I love this. But what company do you work for?
Previously, before the pandemic, I would try to go somewhere completely new at least 2 times a year. And I think one of the biggest things that's tough right now is I actually get more time off or annual leave here in the UK. And it sounds like a wonderful thing, but it's actually really hard to find time to use all of it. So right now I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna use the time. And I think it just might look different. It might be taking time off to stay at home. When I was in the US, I was actually doing a max contribution to my 401k. And they have a similar program here in the UK called a pension plan. However, I do contribute less to it. I only contribute the amount that my company will match. And the main reason why is because I don't know how long I'll be here, and I want to definitely have some more control over my funds. Should I move away from the UK, I don't want it to be super complicated to get access to those funds when I'm in my retirement age. I have two different things I would say I splurge on. One is sometimes I will get the nice designer item, but that's something that I feel like once you have a staple in your closet, you can kind of just keep with it and pair it with different outfits.
Okay, yeah. See, that's really interesting. It's reserved for one staple designer item per year. Whereas most people just make some money and then they go and spend it. So well done.
Now my splurge has become app games on my phone, which sounds really dorky, but there's nothing better than when, especially during pandemic, where you might be just hanging out at home, to be able to play different games on your phone, and they honestly get me with the in-app purchases sometimes. So I'm trying to be better about it. But the one that I'm currently really getting into is one called Redecor, where you basically feel like an interior decorator, but you're not actually decorating, you're just decorating on your phone, so it's kind of fun for me. One of my personal goals is to hopefully figure out how to become a millionaire by 30 and buy a home by the age of 33.
Whoa. Okay. Well, I think there's a very strong chance that she's going to actually do that, just based on her understanding of finance and how she manages and what she's also earning.
A big part of that is me figuring out how to perfect saving money. How can I allow the money that I make to work better for me to make more money? And hopefully it'll give me the opportunity to achieve these things and show people that it's possible. And a big part of that is me trying to just kind of take some tips of how I made it simple for myself. And then I'm actually trying to start a website to help share some of those tips and tricks with others. It's called Mo Money No Problem, MoMoneyNoProblem.com. It's something that I'm pulling together to hopefully help represent women of color who are trying to do their thing in the workspace.